Chapter 31. Kenan's 10th column. After this last call from the Lord's side, Kenan stood before the Lord and gave him glory. And after he had honoured the Lord of all glory, he openly wanted to present his question. But the Lord cut him off and said to him, "My son Kenan, what you have, to beg me for a greater light, is almost known to everybody here already, and to me since eternity. Therefore you do not need to mention it again." For Kenan and his vision of the 10 columns has now become quite identical already among the fathers. And if you wanted to ask someone, just like me, something very important and deeply hidden, behold, your 10 columns appear from your melodic soul. But I tell you, there is something significant behind your vision. But the words of Mithal denote more than your vision, which in fact does not contain the most enjoyable message. But I already have shown your spirit the full explanation of your vision. Why don't you pay more attention to your spirit? The 10 columns are anyway equal to those who stand on it. Even if the 10th is not yet in the flesh among you. Appraise thus what happened until now, and compare it with your vision from point to point along the way of the true, inner, spiritual correspondence. And you're going to get to the bottom of your vision. It is true that your vision wasn't an ordinary dream, but was a little more and contained great spiritual signs. But consider next to it the reality in front of you, and say to yourself, if this is not in every respect many times more significant and much more eloquent in its unveiling, as was your whole vision in its murky confusion. Behold, your vision is in this way easy to grasp, and therefore you do not need always, like the women, come with the same story all over again. I know well that you are pressed especially by the 10th column. But I tell you, be content for the time being only with 9. But concerning the 10th, do not think about it much, but rather unite your heart in love for me, and you will fare much better than on the very rough and dark paths of your fruitless thoughts about your 10th column. Behold, the pure thought in your head about things which are still concealed by the dark future before your spirit can be compared to a man who wants to procreate a living fruit in a man, as he can do it in a woman, which at the same time would also be the largest sinful fornication. But if you take your thoughts captive for the love of your heart to me, you have done in a spiritual sense the same as if you were captivated by the grace of a woman. Embrace her, and then do to her in accordance with your living manner. In this way, your still mute thought in your love for me is then procreated like a living fruit in the woman. And if the thought is then born alive out of love anew, only then will it be to you in the living fullness of eternal truth what it was supposed to be to you primordially, namely a living light from me. Thus understand and grasp your life, and the washing of your 10th column and the big night around it will no longer bother you. But now I say to you all, remain always in love, and observe well all these my words to you. And Keenan's 10th column will be revealed in an entirely different sense, as it is likely to be unveiled when you are disobedient. For my order has many ways of which many are better than some among them. Judgment, however, is at all times always the last, since it always concerns life and death. Beware, therefore, any judgment. I now will leave you for some time visibly, but in your love for me I am nevertheless constantly with you. My blessing to you all, men and women. Amen. Here the Lord disappeared with the setting sun. All present fell down on their faces and wept, praised and glorified the Father through the whole night until the next bright day, and only went home in the morning.